In your house with O'Con. Hey, O'Con in your house. Hollywood in your house. Hypocrisy's head in the clouds. Curating all kind of loud. Wrestling in front of the crowds. Paragon's holding it down. Anybody can get it. Josh Joseph standing on his decisions. He is the voice. There is no choice. We as them boys in your house making wrestling noise. Moving fast just like cruiserweight action. In your house is the perfect distraction. Rumpus in your ears when you in traction. Get this work with some wrestling action. Smoke. What is up, guys? What is cracking? It's the Con Man, and I am in your house. And you guys already know the vibes. Anytime we slide on through, we're here to give you that work when it comes to this professional wrestling business. And guys, you already know we doing it and doing it well, y'all. We are giving y'all that work continuously as we continue to give you great shows like Window Liquors, like the Sunday House Party, like the ECW Watch Along series, like Dear Pro Wrestling, like Grunge Room, and of course on Wednesday, because guess what? That's what today is, y'all. Wednesday, and you know what that means. That means it's time for the Raw Deal with Howse and O'Neal. And guys, you know what we got to do. We got to bring her in because you know who she is. That's the big dog, all right? The big dog's coming back in to In Your House. And that is, of course, Annie O'Neal. What is up, Annie?
What's up, everyone? Hitting those reps, taking names, and making waves. And
Yes.
Con, we're here to give it to everyone raw. Like they ask for. Every week, every Wednesday.
Yes, most definitely. We're here to give it to y'all raw. And that's the only way we got to give it to y'all because we talk raw. That's Monday Night Raw. And I got to tell you, Annie, we could just kind of jump right into it because we kind of got into a big conversation before the show and really started breaking some stuff down. And we were just like, let's just go ahead and jump right into it and go into it. So, like, this is another week of 2-hour Monday Night Raw, and I'm still kind of getting used to it, honestly. Like, it seems like it's just boom, real quick, right? Yeah.
I mean, because like 10 o'clock hits and I'm like, oh my God, I still have an hour before I go to bed. It's crazy. It's honestly really surreal. I think it's gonna it might stay at 2 hours. I'm just gonna call it now.
Yeah. You think you mean even past like when it goes to Netflix?
Yeah, I think it's gonna stay at 2 hours. Maybe like after PLEs, maybe that'll be a 3-hour show, but I think the rhythm is it's going to stay a 2-hour show. And
so I like the idea of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just saying I like the idea of the 2-hour show just because when it goes with Netflix, when it goes to Netflix, it gives them that little bit of leeway because they're not stuck in a time frame as far as being like on a network and like, oh, we got to get to the next show because we have time slots that we have to on Netflix because they'll be streaming. They can go 2 hours, 2 hours, 15 minutes, 2 hours, 30 minutes without any time constraints. So I just think that was a point I wanted to throw out there.
And honestly, I don't think it'll exceed maybe 2 hours, 30 minutes at most because with the short amount of time it is, like people have to pay attention and you're not going to get so many storylines at once, but you're going to get so many more details from different storylines. So that you have to pay attention. It's blink and you might miss something.
Yeah. So OG Tony says that this was a taped show. I did not realize that this show was taped.
Oh, really?
I guess I didn't see that. So there's probably a lot of like post-production done on this show, which is all right. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, it was a little bit better. We got Voice in there, and he has been such a grouch when it comes to this 3 hour. He wants his 3 hours back. You're not getting it back, fella. Not for a while. You might want to go to SmackDown if you want your 3 hours, bro.
I mean, You know what? Just because it makes you mad doesn't mean I'm not going to say it. So I like 2 hours. I have a short attention span. Okay, like it physically pains me to sit more than like I like. See, I used to marathon things like Harry Potter movies, the Lord of the Ring movies, but I can't anymore. Like I'm a busy
Yeah,
gal, and
for
I have
sure, for sure.
lots of things to do, and I love watching Raw. I love it, but my tiny human body, like I gotta move. So,
Yeah,
like, it
gotta stay on that
physically
move.
hurts me to sit in one place for too long. Okay, like my ADHD, like it doesn't keep up. It's not as fast as my body wants to move. So, like, I like the 3 hours, and it's okay to be wrong.
Hey, I
So,
like. Here's the thing. So we talked about it a little bit
hmm
before the show, and I want to bring up the point that
hmm
and Tony's like, this is a good point. I like the 3 hours under Triple H, yeah, because he writes
sure.
good TV. And Tony, I know you know from like 10 years ago, those 3 hour shows dragged on Monday. It was not good. It was bad. I mean, I remember falling asleep and changing the channel a lot during Monday Night Raw. That's not the case anymore. But I like
I,
the
I,
two
I
hours.
don't want to. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be feeling the need to like hit the remote and change the channel. I think 2 hours it just hits the mark.
Especially on a Monday night. Like I think that like with them going to 3 hours on SmackDown in January, which is happening, I think it's great because it's Friday night. A lot of people off on Saturdays. It's a little bit easier to want to stay up to like 11 o'clock and watch a
Right,
show if you want to, and not have the pressure like I got to be up at 4 or 5, 6 o'clock in the morning the
right.
next day, whatever. So like I like 3 hours better on SmackDown a lot.
Okay, let's run it back to like 1998, right? Where we had the blockbuster ritual. The blockbuster ritual was after school or
Yes.
after work on a Friday. Like you're picking out movies to watch on a Friday night.
Get a
You're like
pizza. Yep.
right because you have Saturday morning to sleep in. Like I don't I can't do that on a Tuesday. The ritual doesn't work then.
Yeah, yeah. Voice said, "You old fucks, get off my lawn." You'll
Listen,
get
I
your
don't
3 hours
care.
on Fridays, man.
I
You'll
don't
like it better.
care.
You'll adjust. You will adjust. I promise you will. Oh
Like I'm
man.
conditioned to wake up at like 5 o'clock every weekday. So by like
Me too.
9:30, I'm falling asleep. I'm
Yeah.
falling
Oh
asleep.
yeah. I am 100% with you. Totally get it.
Yes, I'm
Totally
old.
get it. Yeah, man, I feel old sometimes. But listen,
I
listen.
like my
What
solid
was
bedtime. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, sure, sure, absolutely. But you know what wasn't old was this Monday Night Raw. A lot of good variety in there. I enjoyed it. And just so much different things that came from it. I'm loving this whole Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez thing. Rough start, but I'm starting to see it kind of pan out and level out. And we're definitely going to talk about that. Well, a lot of focus on this women's tag team division. I absolutely love it. We've
Love it.
talked about it a lot. We saw NXT superstars Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson there at ringside for Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill defending against Damage Control. Another great moment that we're going to talk about. The War Raiders returned as the War Raiders, not no Viking, nothing. It was
Yes.
just, and
Yes.
these two guys are great. They came back, and Alpha Academy did the honors to put over the War Raiders in a number one contenders tournament match. I'm loving that we're having a tournament. Love tournaments. If you guys know anything about me, you know I'm tournament
Absolutely.
based. Love it. Cody Rhodes and Gunther had a really good confrontation. We got to talk about that. A lot of things to talk about. The Uso brothers coming together, Jay Uso and Jimmy, and also everything that is going on. We saw, I mean, the ladies main evented to the night. I mean, in a tag match, it was just, this was a good flow of the night that I enjoyed, and I want to start it right off the bat with everything that we're seeing with Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, because we have to talk about that. We might as well just talk about the beginning and the end because that's where they were
Let's
at.
go.
Um, And what are your thoughts right now? Because we know we had the rocky start there with Raquel and everything, but I
Yeah.
gotta be honest, I'm starting to see this thing kind of pan out. And like even you were sending me stuff throughout the week, where you were sending me like Big Daddy Cool Diesel and Shawn Michaels, and like that's the comparison that I've been making, and I think they're really starting to own that vibe. I like it. I'm really starting to like Raquel as in that heavy role. Less is more with her, and she's believable enough to give Rhea Ripley a hard time. Everything that I said when I made that whole left pitch, whatever you want to call it, like came out of nowhere with that one, and it actually happened. They're kind of moving in that direction, and I
Like he
like it
stuck the
for Raquel.
landing on that one. I'm still
Sure
like,
did.
I still remember like his screenshotting what I sent you on Messenger, and I'm like, oh my god, from bottom left
Yeah.
field. Like,
Yeah, that came out of nowhere, but I nailed
I'm like, he
that
was
one. It was
right. He was
crazy.
right.
Yes, that was crazy. But what are you thinking about it so far? What's your thoughts on it as far as where we're at now?
I'm really appreciating the upwards momentum that Liv and Raquel. They're really walking in the right direction for me. Like when Raquel first made her return, I was really unsure with how rough the beginning was, if it could pick up really quickly. And I really feel like just in the presentation alone, like that redeemable factor is really ramping up. I really like that they had matching gear.
Yeah.
Raquel is really starting to become another strong pillar of the Judgment Day. I really think that um, the crack in that foundation is really starting to be remade. I think that's really important. They're becoming a solid faction again,
Sure.
despite how Rhea and Damien fell out. And I'm starting to really like this the next page in this book. Um, and I feel like Raquel really stood out as a powerhouse um,
Yeah.
in this match. You know, because I was really, really, really skeptical from what my eyes first saw at Bad Blood, but
Yeah.
I I really, really appreciate the dynamic between she and Liv Morgan. That's something that I didn't really expect to uh, hit the ground running so quickly out the
So
gate.
fast, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and they're really starting to play so well off of each other. And I really one feminine archetype I really appreciate is the feminine badass, like the one who can't be controlled, the one who runs by her own agenda. Um,
Yeah.
and I really feel like Liv Morgan is starting to step really quickly onto that track, and it it keeps the contention between Rhea and Liv uh, going so well. So
Yeah. They've really put a shot in the arm of this feud with the inclusion of Raquel Rodriguez, and I love it. I really really do. And I got to give credit to Liv Morgan. I mean, the growth that she has had in
mhm.
this last year has just been absolutely incredible. From being somebody who I was like, I mean, that's
Right.
cool that you cashed in, and became champion. You cashed in on, who is it? MMA, uh, UFC, Ronda Rousey. There it
Yeah.
is. I lost
Yeah.
it for a
Yeah.
second. Ronda Rousey. She cashed in on Ronda Rousey, but I still didn't believe her at that point. Now at this point, she has evolved so much that it's like she's undeniable, and she's
Right.
undeniably the
Like something
top deal
clicked
in the women's division. Yeah, it
because
clicked.
she didn't hit the radar for me for a very long time.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
even though I still hate her for what she did to Rhea, I can appreciate her for what she is and what she's becoming.
Oh
because
yeah,
now I'm
it's
really starting to see her carry her weight as a viable champion, especially when she's quivering behind Raquel and she's using her as a human shield. Like
it's perfect. It's perfect.
I love a good bad guy. I love it.
Yeah, and that's what she's doing, and she's playing the bad guy in a big way. But overtly, uh, are we seeing the slow turn here of Tiffany Stratton? Because I think it's starting to kind of come for real. I think we're about to see that Tiffany Stratton heel turn fairly soon.
I mean, like especially the ways that she's battered by Nia Jax. Like, how
Yeah,
long is someone going to be the recipient of that?
yeah,
I
right.
mean, sometimes it really takes a while for us to see people as they truly are. But I I I love Nia. Like she is that person I love to hate, but she's so good at it. But and do you think this might be an inevitable face turn for Tiffany? I don't know if her character needs to alter so much where she just can't be that bitchy valley girl that I really love. I love that persona for her.
But you know what? I think she could be the bitchy valley girl that everybody loves.
Hmm. True.
And I think they're organically building her in that way
Hmm.
because I think it was at Elimination Chamber in Australia. I think it was this past year, I believe.
Hmm.
This one, the Tiffany Stratton train really started revving up really heavily
Hmm.
because she was really over in that Elimination Chamber match, and I definitely could see her as a big time baby face.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. Nia almost solved both her problems in one night. If she would have had uh, Tiffany Stratton successfully cash in on
Hmm.
Liv Morgan, but of
So
course it
close.
was so
So
close. But of
close.
course it was Dom who came in and
Hmm.
stopped it and whatnot. But what did you think about that? Do you think that would have been an interesting wrinkle, or like what were you thinking when you thought you was actually going to cash in on Liv? Do you think? I mean, I think we all knew something was going to happen, but what was your thoughts going into it?
I absolutely would have loved for her to cash in, but I think that storyline would have ended way too soon because there's at least a
Sure.
couple more weeks and a couple more months with the storyline between Tiffany and Naya. I think I liked the slow burn that it's having. Yes, uh, the problem could have been solved right then and there, but then we wouldn't have this nice rich storytelling. So
Yeah, but
I,
wouldn't be no conflict anymore.
yeah, I think it's gonna unfold really nicely. But I really loved how neatly like this it set up Liv and Naya for Crown Jewel. I thought that was really
Yeah.
well
Yep.
done.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job of setting up this champion versus champion situation here.
Hmm.
And that's just a perfect segue into Cody having a confrontation with Gunther as they built up their match for. And I got to tell you, this
Ooh,
was a really good segment. I think Cody cut a little bit deep on some. I was watching it before we went on the air, before
yeah,
we got together. I just wanted to kind
so
of
good.
refresh a little bit, and it was good because Cody was saying things like Gunther is good and this and that, but
Hmm.
when you're struck in with somebody who does not quit, you start to crack a little bit.
Right, right.
You start to kind of get uncomfortable, and that's when you start to make mistakes. And I think this was like Gunther's like most respectful promo because he was very complimentary
Yes,
towards Cody,
yes.
very complimentary.
This was a Gunter promo that I was a little confused. But then I feel like he also was in the presence of someone he respected as an opponent because
Sure, yeah.
he was that's what was evident in for me like during promos with Sammy. He was like, I need someone on equal footing as me. I'm excellent.
Yeah.
I need someone who's a proper challenge. And that was Cody. And one thing I love about Cody is he doesn't take the cheap shots, but he expected them from Gunther. I mean,
He did.
Gunther called him what, a secondary champion?
Called him a secondary. Yes,
And then
secondary champ.
Cody was he was like, okay, I'm gonna take a minute. I'm gonna take a breath. I wanna go the low, but I wanna go low. I wanna go low, but he didn't do it. He didn't he just and he cut to the behavior and he didn't attack the person, which I thought was so well done. And Cody felt like he was running for president 2024. Like I got that vibe. Like
He's always got that vibe about
that's
him.
right,
He's a
Cody
politician.
Rhodes. Right, right. I wouldn't be surprised if he runs for office soon. Like, is it too late
Yeah,
to
I
fill
can see
him
it.
in as a candidate? Because Cody Rhodes has my vote.
Yeah, Cody. Yeah, something Cody Rhodes. That's all we need right there.
Yes,
Yes, man. If we vote him in, you get the adrenaline in your soul. That's what you get. All right. So, but
adrenaline
no,
for 2024.
yes, but once again, this promo, I thought it was good. I think it was really good that they're building up their match against each
Hmm.
other in such a way. We saw a handshake and Gunther just walks off. We saw no funny business or anything like that.
He
I just
tried,
thought that was a good save.
really did. He tried to rattle Cody and with that callback to Kevin Owens at Bad Blood. No, yes,
Yes,
yes. He
yes.
tried. He tried to plant those seeds, but Cody was like, "Get out of here with that shit."
Yeah, yeah. Cody made a couple of points, and he said that he beat the most dominant champion in the company's history. Of course, that being Roman Reigns, and he did just that. But he also said that he beat a beast. So let's kind of unpack this a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a mention of Brock Lesnar there. I've
Not
also
once, but
seen
twice.
that they've also twice, yes,
Yes.
twice, and I've also seen that they've added him back to their website. So I'm
Uh-huh.
like, all right, is it coming? When is it coming? What's going on? Like, what's your thoughts? Because that was interesting to me, and it stuck out to a lot of other people too.
I mean, like, because like one thing that is really like you have to be paying attention for are the seeds that are being sown in the moment. It's like we stated earlier, blink or you miss it. So like, if they using like reoccurring themes, like that's something that is being planted for the future, and I really feel like that's amazing. I love it, and uh, when someone like Brock Lesnar, he is pulled off all forms of like the websites and being mentioned on any type of way in the WWE universe, like that's a glaring problem. But when the seeds are being sown for him to, okay, like what's going to happen? And
Yeah,
you never know, like it's setting the scene for Brock Lesnar to come back. So I'm super excited for that.
yeah. I think that there's a lot of talk about what happened with Brock Lesnar and his involvement with the McMahon stuff, but like at this point, I think things have cooled off a little bit. I don't know what his involvement is until anything, officially happens. I'm just like, you know what?
It's
Let's see where it goes, you
it's
know?
speculation, and
Yeah.
like uh, people have difficulty separating what they think they know and what's fact.
Right.
So,
Yep.
I mean, what if I start to see any allegations against Brock Lesnar? Then I'll really start shifting my attention in that way. But so many people have had their hands in the pot, but
Yep.
I prefer to focus on the wrestling.
Same. That's exactly it. We want to focus on the wrestling, and that's to me just a perfect segue. We're kind of getting a lot of these segues. For me, it's back to Monday Night Raw, and we got to talk about the WWE Women's Tag Team division. That to me is just really like I don't want to just all right. So I don't want to really just blow past that because we're talking about a division that people thought was cursed for a long time.
Yes,
I
yes.
mean, that was just like, what's the point of this? Anytime there's a women's tag team champion, somebody gets injured, the division has no direction, it has no storytelling, and these things were all true. They all rung true about this
Hmm.
division, about this once accursed division, but the curse is lifted in my eyes
If
because
Hmm.
This is one of the better book divisions right now. I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing from the women's tag team division and the women's tag team champions Belair and Cargill.
If one thing that I can give credit to WWE right now is that when people talk, they start to listen. If there's enough of a motion behind something,
Yeah,
it's at least considered. But it's going to happen slowly. It's not going to happen right when we want it, especially with Raw going back to 2 hours. So
yeah,
things have to build up, and we have to respect the process. But man, whenever Bianca and Jade step out, they step out. Like these these two superstars, they really do cast a halo. Like it's just it's in their mannerisms, it's in their movement, and when they're in cohesion together, like they're truly unstoppable. I love their tag team moves together, and
yeah,
Jade is improving weekly. And
yeah,
I feel like this week we started to she's got more in ring um, action without being assisted by Bianca. She's starting to carry her own more and more.
yeah. She really is, and I think that's the whole point of why this is even a thing. Honestly, like they're building
Mm,
themselves up as viable tag team champions, and like so, I was looking up while you were talking there because I had a thought. I was looking
mm,
up the PWI Women's 250
mm,
because some it was an interesting thought that I saw on social media,
sure.
and Bianca was like number one, like 2 or 3 years ago, and
Yes.
then the year after that she was like number two, and
Hmm.
then I think the year after that, I can't say the year before, like the year before this one, I can't
Hmm.
remember. I'd have to look it up. But this year she was number 34. She dropped down to 34.
Wow.
And I think a lot of that is because she has been relegated to this tag team. But honestly, to be real with you, I'm sure Bianca Belair don't give a damn about that. I'm sure she does not. She's been number one. She's done that, been there, done that.
I don't think
And
she
I
has to
think
care.
I don't know. I don't think she does. Like, and don't get me wrong, ladies and
Hmm.
gentlemen. Congratulations to all the women that made the PWI
Hmm.
uh, top 250 for women. It's a great accolade, and for the ones who made it, especially for the first time, that's great. And congratulations, most
I mean,
definitely.
one of Emerge's own just made 248.
Yeah.
The big
Yeah,
flexor.
Alexis Littlefoot.
Yeah.
Alexis
Yeah.
Littlefoot, the big flexer.
She
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
She made it on there. And she really has not been wrestling that long. So for her to be there about 2 or 3 years into her career,
Yeah. Under 4 years, I know.
that's a big flex, like for
It really
sure. Like,
is.
so yeah, like I said, congratulations. But like, I don't
Hmm.
think Bianca's paying attention to stuff like that. I think she's because I was in the same realm too, where I'm like, man, I kind of want to see Bianca Belair step back into that main event top
Yes.
tier, because she plays that role so well. And I think it was the voice Josh Joseph who said it, like when Bianca Belair is at the top of the women's division, she is the division. The entire division just gravitates around everything that she does. And like, I think it's an interesting part of her career where she has, once again been relegated to this tag team with Jade
Hmm.
Cargill. This is a woman who's main evented WrestleManias before. This is a woman who has made history. I mean, historical reigns with the company. No ego,
I
no
mean,
attitude.
did any
Took
other women
this
who
role.
came from the next in line from NXT did they have they achieved as much as Bianca Belair?
No,
Because
no.
she ran track, right?
Yes. Yep. Track and field.
And look where she is. Look where she started and look where she's at.
She's an incredible talent, and I think sometimes we forget because that she's taken this lesser role. Once again, I have to say it, with no attitude, with no ego, taking this lesser role. Bianca Belair is a pro's pro, but like, I see why she dropped down, because she's not doing the historical things that she was doing. She's helping out her friend
And
Jade Cargill, and I think it's an
look
interesting
at the
part.
superstar that Jade Cargill is coming because of it.
Yeah,
But when
100%.
you're willing to step back and help someone step up, like that energy comes and finds you. It comes back to you. So
Yep.
in the next 365 days, I think Bianca Belair will just be doing laps around what she's accomplished in the past. So
Yeah. Yeah, she's incredibly talented, and it's just a great time for women's wrestling right now in the WWE and beyond, of course. But specifically with the WWE, I mean, the roster that they're creating, that they're developing, it's a great time. If you're a women's wrestling fan, like I am, I love pretty much all facets of wrestling, but I do enjoy women's wrestling because I enjoy the organic rise of the women's of the women's revolution and everything that happened with that, where they went from being just overly sexualized to being legitimate contenders who are putting on a lot of nights the best match of the night. I mean, straight up. I mean,
I mean,
honestly.
15 years ago, were you seeing women's tag match main event Raw?
No,
Not that
never. I never
long
would have
ago.
imagined that happening.
Not that long ago. And women of all representations.
Yep. It's great. It's great. It's a great time. That's why I love it. Like if you're a longtime wrestling fan, like I am, like that's been a well invested interest because it's just an awesome, amazing, uh, inclusive time right
So I got a question for you.
now, and it's sure, sure.
So with Lash Legend and Jakar Jackson being ringside on this Monday Night Raw, do you think they'll get their call up soon? Especially with how they intervened with EO?
I think it's coming, and I think that it's time. I think there's a certain crop of NXT talent that is ready to come up. For me, that includes Lash Legend, Jakara Jackson, and also Trick Williams. I think it's
Yes,
time for
it's
Trick
about
Williams
time.
to come up too. I think that he's going to hold the NXT championship for a little bit after this reign. I fully expect Trick Williams to come to the main roster. But
I
yes, to
think it'll
answer
be
your
before the
question,
new year too. I think it'll
yeah,
be.
it's a possibility. It's a strong possibility. Who knows what's going to happen around Survivor Series? I got
Mhm.
to tell you, I don't think his reign is going to be long
I
because
don't
I
think
think
so
his
either.
main roster call up is coming soon.
It is. It is. Especially with Mello being on the main roster too. I don't. I think they have unfinished business. So, and
For
that's
sure.
gonna.
And Melo's at a good trajectory. I think Melo's
Yeah.
our next United States champion.
Ooh, really?
I do. I do. I don't know when it's going to happen,
Mhm.
but I do think that he will eventually defeat LA Knight to become the new United States champion.
Okay, so present your case. Why do you think he is on the run to be the next U.S. Champion?
Oh, I've already gone through it, but I'd be happy to
Mm,
go through it again
yes.
here on the Raw Deal. I did it
Yes.
on a different show with The Voice, but
Yes.
the reason why is because he has been a part of this feud with Andrade, and now they're going into match 7. They've had a 7-match series. Match 7, I believe, is going down this Friday night on SmackDown, and he's put on with Andrade some of the best, most entertaining matches and one of the best match series I've seen in years. And also, they've been intertwining the United States Championship in it with LA Knight, frequently challenging these two men. He defended against Andrade a few weeks ago, and I believe that something happened. There was some involvement,
Mhm.
and then he beat Carmelo, and Carmelo's first ever main roster championship opportunity this past Friday on SmackDown, and he lost to LA Knight. I don't think that he's losing twice. I think that he beats Andrade. Carmelo Hayes beats
Mhm.
Andrade in match 7, and he goes on to have a match with LA Knight and eventually defeats him. But I think Carmelo Hayes has put himself in a good spot right now. He's putting on great matches. His character is slowly becoming more compelling, and also a little bit of luck blowing in his favor with with the little whispers of, oh, there's no black representation that's going on PLEs or on the main roster. There's no, well, You got Carmelo Hayes. You put the title on him. Boom. He's your great black hope. Shut those whispers down. But at the same time, give it to a young man that's very deserving of being the next United States champion.
I mean, and there's so many people of different backgrounds holding the championships right now. It's exciting.
Yes.
And, just because things racially hasn't been represented on WWE, it's happening in real time.
Oh, yeah.
So, things have to be eradicated first. And because we have to get rid of the old, so the new can take its rightful place. So
yes.
it's a great time to be a WWE fan. It really is.
Absolutely. It really is. Like I said, and the great point that you made, when was the last time we thought that we'd ever see a women's tag team championship match main event of Monday Night Raw? These are good times, ladies and gentlemen. And I got to show some love real quick to the Lou, my man. He says, what's up, Howse and Annie? Happy Wednesday, bro. Thanks for coming and joining us. We're talking a little bit of Raw and a little bit of SmackDown too. So yeah, but to really loop it all the way back, Lash legend Jakar Jackson, their main roster time is coming. And I honestly think that they'll probably hold those women tag team championships shortly after the reign of Jade Cargill and Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, and I think they might even beat them.
So I'm unsure. Are Lash and Jakara, are they bad girls? Is that what I'm seeing? Because I would love that dynamic if that was true. I love good bad girls.
Yeah. I could see it. I'm going to see what kind of dynamic they're going to mold with them as far as where it goes. Because they kind of just had them. Because if you remember last Friday on SmackDown, they came out and then Kevin Owens came and did his thing. And then they had their title match. I want to see. I think they could play that role for sure. Because you already got the baby faces with Jade and with Jade and Bianca. I think that they can play that really well. I'm interested to see. I think it's a good time for them to come in too, because it's going to be a perfect time for them to come take those championships, honestly, because I think we're going to start to see in the next few months Jade and Bianca split, and they're going to go up against each other at WrestleMania. So the timing to present Jakara Jackson and Last Legend is actually like perfect.
So do you think that we will see a Jade heel turn in the works?
Yes, I think it's got to be Jade. I think Jade.
I would love to see heel Bianca. I feel like such a nice, seemingly nice person would play a really great mean person, like very underhanded.
I think so too.
But I mean, like the shadow also exists, right? I mean, appearances are just that, appearances. But I don't think it's going to be Bianca. I really don't. I would love, as much as I would love that, but
I would like it. I think it'd be an interesting, because like I think everybody's kind of, and I've been in the same realm. I've said it. You go back in the archives, listen to the old episodes. I said, as much as I love Bianca Belair, I think the same character that she's been playing for so long is a little bit worn out. And I think we got to get the most out of Bianca Belair by refreshing her character a little bit. So I am on the side that we need that Bianca Belair heel turn would be great and refreshing for her. But I don't know if they're going to take that route, because Jade is she played heel when she was in AEW, and she's playing babyface now, and I think she plays it really well. I think deep down, I think deep down she's a heel, and I think that she could really play that part well.
Someone who is as physically manifested as Jade, she needs to be a bad girl. She really does. Yeah. She knows who she is, and she's comfortable with it. She's like, she just wears it so well. So I want to see the version of Jade where, she is so full of herself that she's doing the world a favor. Like,
she's superior she's superior to everybody else.
I swear her abs are genetically manufactured. There's no way it's real, but it is. Like, how are you so perfect?
It makes you mad. That's
Yeah,
how it should
like
be. Like you're so perfect, it makes people mad.
like I know I'm awesome, but like Jade is like she is the person everyone's eyes are going to gravitate toward when she's in the room. That's just how that is, and that's fine. She has her pedestal, and she deserves every bit of it. So I
Sure.
I I want to see a Jade heel turn, especially with Jakara and Lash. I think that Mean Girl trio
Ooh,
would
ooh, that'd
pop
be
off like
yeah. Yes, yes,
game changers.
yes.
So
Oh yeah, I love that for sure. 100%. Put the oh man, that's good stuff. Put the World Women's Championship on Jade. Put the tag team titles on Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend. That is money right there. So much money.
yeah, I think like but if we had a Bianca heel turn and she were to join up with Lash and Jakara for the Mean Girl trio, like, and
That'd be
also
okay too.
also,
I'm good
also
with either scenario.
their faction would be called Whip and Lash. I mean, I'm just saying,
Yeah, like that's good.
but that's just not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So she might have
I
been
do
healing
forget
NXT,
OG.
but she is
I don't
she's
see I don't
likable.
see it happening, but I do remember that, Tony. I totally forgot about that. Now I remember she was. But I
She
think she's
sells
still gonna be the
t-shirts.
face.
Sells t-shirts to kids. So
Yeah.
is
Yep.
merchandise, I feel like it sells better when you're a face. So
Yes.
if I hate you, I don't want to buy anything from you. Why am I going to support you? But she's that
True
face
that.
draw, so I don't think it's going to change. That's
I
just
don't think
business.
so
But
either. It's just the business. It's the business side of it. You get
and
it, most
and
definitely.
do you think Damage Control? Do you think they're slowly turning face? Even though
I don't know.
they
I don't know
they
what's happening with Damage Control.
I mean, I feel
They're
like
still
they're
putting on
the
great
face
matches,
for
don't get me wrong, but they're
you.
so beat up, they're injured. Like I
Yes.
feel like there was more for them, and like now they're just kind of like trying to keep it alive. Don't get me
Right.
wrong, I love what Damage Control is, even now with injuries and whatnot. And
But they're going
it
through
is.
that American made phase where they just keep losing and losing and losing and losing and losing.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know what's gonna hold for them because like the only thing they can do right now
Mm-hmm.
is go for the tag titles,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much they don't have, I don't know when Asuka's coming back.
Right.
I'm not really sure. Dakota Kai, I'm not sure when she's coming
Right.
back. It's just Kyrie Sane and Io Sky, and
They
like
can only hold the fort down for so long.
exactly. And I'm listen, like I love Kyrie Sane, don't get me wrong, super
Mm-hmm.
talented, but like Io Sky is standout. Like
Seriously.
this is a former world women's champion. Like it's this is serious stuff here. Like to me, I want to still get some of the best years we can out of Io Sky because
Mm-hmm.
she's super talented and she knows who she is, and that's somebody that they've invested in before. But I think she's still got quite a few good runs in her as a top champion.
I agree. It might be time for Damage Control to be contained. I mean, maybe once Asuka and Dakota Kai come back, whenever that may be, maybe get the band back together. But I feel like for Io's sake and her career, I think splitting them up and her going back on her strong single stint, I think that would be really beneficial to Io because
Yeah.
as much as I appreciate and respect Kyrie, I think I think uh, Io needs to. They need to be split up. So
I wouldn't be mad if they dissolved. I really wouldn't, just for that very reason, to be honest. I mean,
mm-hmm.
Damage Control was great for what it was, but like I love, trust me, I love the fact that we live in a time where factions are so important again. As somebody who lived and watched so many great factions like D-Generation X, the Nation of Domination, NWO, the Four Horsemen. I mean, so many great factions. I love it that we live in a time where there's so many awesome factions again, but like we don't want to hang on to him for so long. Like
Right.
not every faction is gonna have that Judgment Day effect where
Right.
we can, oh, we're gonna drop this member and then add this member and then be strong again and then drop this member and add two members and oh, we're strong again. Like sometimes factions just dissolve, and it
Right.
needs to dissolve for the sake of the singles career of the people that's in it.
And that's so well said. I couldn't agree more. They've accomplished a lot as a faction, but the more you try and overuse something, like it bleeds dry. And I don't want to see that happen to Kyrie and Io. They are two amazing athletes,
not at
and
all.
I don't want them to get that stank of being overused. Then we don't appreciate it anymore. So I think the only way to appreciate that is if they go away, at least for a little while, at least as a faction.
Yeah, for sure. I think they need to go the separate ways. Yeah, for sure. But we still got a lot.
Go their separate ways. So
yes, and we got a lot of Monday Night Raw to talk about, so we got to go our separate ways shortly with the audience real quick, just because we got to take a break and pay a few bills. But when we do come back, we're going to continue this discussion. We still got a lot of things to talk about when it comes to Monday Night Raw. We had the War Raiders. They came back in, no Viking situations at all. Braun Breaker, Kofi Kingston, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso. What's going on with that? And did the Wyatt Six make intentions on their next victims? Hey, we'll talk about that on the other side of this break. We will be back.
Hello, everyone. It's the Pope Elijah Burke, founder and president of the Love Alive charity. I wanted to take this brief moment to share with you my charity's continued humanitarian efforts to positively impact the impoverished communities in and around the greater Jacksonville area. This cannot be possible without your support. If you'd be so kind, please take a moment to visit our website, love-alive.org, to learn more about the charity and its mission. Also, feel free to donate to our 501c3 organization that operates off of the donation of the public, which is you. Whether that be by website or via Cash App, $1 help makes a difference in the lives of others as we continue to positively influence many people by being the change that we wish to see in the world.
Exciting things are happening at the Kokomo Press. Yeah, very exciting things. Not only are we bringing you comedy shows, an open mic once a week, skits, videos, funny jokes on our page, and satire news stories, but now you can support us by going to kokomopress.shop. It's that simple. You go to kokomopress.shop, you find a t-shirt, you find a hat, maybe in the future some stickers and some posters. You go on there, you buy one of those from us, and percentage of the proceeds will go to us and help support what we do. We appreciate every person who just likes, subscribes, does all that. But if you go to kokomopress.shop and you buy something, we'll know who you are. You send us a photo of it. We will post it on our page and shout it out. Thank you so much. Go to kokomopress.shop, buy all your shirts and hats needs, and support the Kokomo Press. Thank you guys so much. kokomopress.shop.
Hey guys, welcome back to In Your House. And you guys already know those vibes because, guys, it is time. That's right. It is time for a little bit of Annie analysis. And we got to make sure if she's good. And that's exactly what we're about to do, because I always got to ask Annie, what's something that she wants to chat about? Something that's really got her mind moving and whatnot. And I know that we had a confrontation that I was interested in as well. So I was like, hey, you want to talk about this? I'm definitely down to talk about this. And that is the confrontation between brothers Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso. I mean, first time seeing each other since everything that's happened. Jey has made a way for himself in such a big way. Intercontinental Champion, main event Jey Uso actually being that guy. Jimmy just coming back, and he's dealing with family business with Roman, everything that's going on with Solo and the Tongans and Jacob Fatu, and he's looking for a little bit of help. But it doesn't look like Jay is trying to hear it. I know you wanted to break this down. What was your thoughts on seeing the segment between those two?
I mean, how else do you face someone you absolutely love and hate at the first time, at the same time?
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
like, you know, we all love Jey Uso as this lovable superstar, but once someone crosses him, then we see a whole different side.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
you know, Jimmy shows up twice during the night, and each time that he tries to talk to Jay just wasn't listening. So
I wouldn't be trying to hear it either.
I mean, after the fallout from WrestleMania 40, like, I don't know. Jimmy's gonna have to do a lot of groveling. He's gonna have to do a lot of means of asking for forgiveness. I mean, how do you come back from that? And you know, and that's your brother. That's someone you come into this world with. You have this undeniable bond that you just can't override, but at the same time, like, it hurts the most. Like, first cut is the deepest, right? We're gonna sound like a whole Sheryl Crow song. But but I mean, how many times do you turn the other cheek? You go head to head with someone you love the most at one of the most important events in the year, and only one can win.
Yep. And
So-
let's not even talk about the fact that I mean, Jimmy Uso literally cost Jey Uso the WWE Undisputed Championship. He had Roman beat. And was defeated because of Jimmy Uso, who screwed over his own brother. I mean, everything with the bloodline, him trying to take over, Jay being the right-hand man for so long and taking care of family business under Roman Reigns, and he was the next anointed one. That's why he was the right-hand man. Because one thing the one thing that really got Jey Uso ousted from the family is the fact that he asked questions. And I think that a smart person should always ask what's going on around them. You shouldn't ever just assume everything is what it is. And I think Jay was smart to do that, but he was questioning the tribal chief. And a lot of this came when Sami Zayn got included into the Bloodline storyline as the voice of reason. And Jay didn't like him at first, but he ended up earning Jay's trust. And in turn, they formed a bond that even when they cross paths on Monday Night Raw, that is still there, because Jay really credits Sammy for getting him out of that situation and contributing to who main event Jey Uso has become, the Yeet Man himself, the Intercontinental Champion, the man who we now see as a viable singles competitor, and it all formed from him splitting off. I mean, I used to call him years ago, I called this man on this podcast the most stressed out man in professional wrestling, because Roman was stressing Jey Uso out, and now this guy is on top of the world, and now you have Jimmy Uso, who's now in a bind right now, coming, and the man who you screwed out of a championship, the man who was there for you, you came. You showed
but
up.
if you were in Jimmy's position, what else are you going to do? Logically speaking, who's the first choice?
I mean, I think he thought it was him. A little bit. That's what's going on in the storyline. There's some jealousy instilled in there too, because, like I said, Jay was the right-hand man. He was taking care of business for the tribal chief and doing everything they needed to do, unquestioned. And he was frustrated about it, but unquestioned. It wasn't until, once again, like I said, he started asking questions when people, because I think what Roman saw in Jey Uso is somebody who could defeat him. He knew it. That's why he kept him close. Because he knew that if he ever really let Jay loose on his own and he found his way back, he could defeat Roman, as we almost saw before Jimmy screwed him over. But now Jimmy has the audacity to come back and say, hey, we need you. Of course, he's not going to want to talk to him the first time. This is probably in storyline the first time they've talked since everything popped off, since the match at WrestleMania. So, you know, that none of that's really Jay's business, but is it not though? Because it's family business. There's a lot of things that's moving into the storyline.
I mean, especially from how far off the face of the earth Jay was ousted. And he's built himself back up literally from ground zero. And coming face to face with a person who kicked you off that ledge, I can see why the point of contention is what it is. But the storyline is so heavily nuanced.
It's like Simba. It's like
mm-hmm.
It's like Simba coming back face to face to Scar.
It really is.
I mean,
we had
like, I don't want to have nothing to do with you.
I mean, he'd make a very handsome throw rug.
There's a lot of things moving. I think that they're building towards Survivor Series. I truly do. I think Jay is going to there. So once again, it's going back to masturbating the emotions, and that is because he's gonna keep saying no until he says yes. And I'm telling you, the pop that happens when Jay hugs Jimmy and forgives him for everything is going to feed families. You have to do that in the center of the ring. If you don't do that in the center of the ring, you're doing a massive disservice, because it's going to blow the roof off that place. And what's going to be even a bigger pop is when Roman, who wants nothing to do with Jay, has to come and acknowledge Jay Uso, because I think that's what we're going to see in here. I don't think a lot of this storyline right now is about titles or anything like that. Mm-hmm. It's definitely about trajectory within the confines of the family and about being appreciated and respected. And I don't think that Jay Uso felt appreciated and respected by Roman Reigns. I think when the moment comes, when Roman acknowledges Jay Uso, mm-hmm. that pop is going to go absolutely nutty.
Roman is on his own equivalent ascension from the pitfalls of disgrace. You know, after his historic title run was finished, you know, he fell off the face of the earth. So
he ducked off.
You got to start somewhere. And it starts with building alliances.
Yep.
Even against our pride.
Yep. You don't want to let foolish pride be the reason that you are. And this is exactly what I said. Jimmy's going to keep saying, dog, I'm with you, but this is what we need to do. And Roman is either going to die by his pride, or he's going to swallow it and start to rebuild his empire once again.
And we're just at a point where the seeds are being planted, and I can't wait to see what comes because of it.
Absolutely. It's definitely a great area that we're in, because, you know, Jay Uso comes and makes the save with the New Day, Braun Breaker. He's doing his thing as he continues to. He's got a matchup against Jay Uso next week on Raw. So I want to just talk about that a little bit and bring up that, because do you think, Annie, that there is a chance that we see Braun Breaker regain that title next week?
I feel like that is a potential, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think Jay will retain. I think Jay needs it more than Braun right now, because that separates. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. You know, I thought that it was a weird pivot when they had him show respect to Jay one week, and then like literally the next week he's spearing him again. So it just has my brain moving in a weird way as far as what their intentions are. And that's something I actually
wanted to talk to you about. Like,
yeah,
it seemed like they were trying to go with, like, try like testing the waters. Like, do we?
Yeah, that. Yeah.
But then they made a strange pivot,
back.
and it's just
Yeah.
something that I caught that was just so, it was disjointed. It was a bit awkward.
It was, wasn't it? That's why I'm like, that's why my mind is in a weird spot right now, Annie, because I'm like, are they putting the title back on Braun Breaker? Did they just want to give Jay his moment and then kind of be like, all right, we gave you your moment, you're the IC champion, then boom, pivot back to Braun Breaker? Because I just thought it was weird because Braun showed respect that like it seemed like he was turning babyface. And I even said it on the show. I was like, well, it looks like Braun Breaker's turning babyface. And then he even made intentions in a backstage segment with Gunther saying, hey, at some point I'm coming for that, talking about the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm like, okay, so we're probably going to see Braun Breaker versus Gunther at some point down the road. But now, boom, we're moving back. Braun's back in the title picture again for the Intercontinental Championship. I don't know if I want to see that title back on him, though. I think right now that Jay needs to stay champion.
And do you think it begs the question that he might have gotten it too early?
Breaker?
Yes. Or do you think he got it when he needed to?
I think he might have got it a little bit too early because there was, and the reason that I say that is because Jay was waiting in the wings for a minute. He was waiting in the wings for a big opportunity, whether it be the World Heavyweight Championship, Intercontinental Championship. As long as it wasn't the Tag Team Championship, because if he won another Tag Team Champion, they'd be like, oh, well, they don't trust him as a singles champion. I guess he's just a tag team guy, because of course he won it all those times with his brother, and then he won it the time with Cody, and they're just like, okay, they don't trust him to be anything else except for a Tag Team Champion. I think right now him being the Intercontinental Champion is just necessary.
And what does he gain if he drops it too early? That he's not a strong, established singles competitor. Like, then all of that buildup will just be for nothing.
Yeah, I think you got to keep it on him right now. I think doing the flip-flop title thing is just and honestly, I'll say this. If they do put the title back on Breaker, I won't be surprised, just because of the movement of what they did as far as, hey, we're moving in this direction. Nope, we're going backwards. So if they did do that, I would not be surprised, but I would not want to see it. I think that Breaker needs to move on. I think Breaker is a guy that isn't going to need a whole lot of mid-card title reigns. I think right now the guy who really needed that title on his shoulder has it, and it needs to be that way for a while. And he's already defending it weekly, which is a good look. Like, it's not just, oh, Jey Uso was the Intercontinental Champion. You finally got your pop. And then it's like, let's keep him off TV or not have him defend the title or have him not have matches on TV. No, he's defending the title in matches weekly right now, which is great, but I just feel like Breaker, there's other things that he can be doing that does not involve that title.
I had an interesting thought of what I thought of how he could be booked. I want him to be a giant killer. I want him to go after the likes of Bronson Reed. I actually want him to be involved, intervene with the Seth Rollins angle. I think that'd be interesting. That sets up a feud between Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. But I think it would be really cool if Braun Breaker was just booked as the person who just slays the giants.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's a good thing. You got to be delicate with what you're doing with Braun Breaker, because he's the way he is. Like, yeah, he could be a champion for sure, but like, he's your ass kicker too. So like, you want to make sure that you're giving like he doesn't have to be in a title. Like, he doesn't have to be a title thing. He could, hell, I possibly even have him as Drew McIntyre's next feud. That would help elevate Braun Breaker to be feuding with a psychopath like Drew McIntyre. I wouldn't hate that.
I mean, just by the aura of Braun Breaker, he looks like a champion. He exudes that larger than life characteristic. He doesn't need a belt to prove it, but I really like the idea of Breaker and Drew next.
Yeah,
Drew's got to have something to do when he comes back. Whenever he heals up from being dead.
And we've said it a million times already. It can't be Punk. We know it cannot be Punk. You got to keep those two away from each other. Done. Got to be done. So like
Actually, how do
if
you
Breaker's
yeah,
next to him, that'd be perfect.
how do you follow up after Hell in a Cell? You don't. You don't outdo that.
You can't. Mm-mm.
Not at
No,
all.
I don't think that's the move. You got to keep those two away from each other, and I like that idea. I mean, what's the plan here with Drew when he comes back? We still haven't seen him on TV, so I think that's interesting. Uh, but I also got to bring up the fact that we had the return of the War Raiders. So most people know them as Viking Raiders. I know them as War Machine when they were in Ring of Honor, and I got a chance to meet those cats, and they were just super
Hmm.
cool. I met them at a Ring of Honor show. It was dope. But like now they're back, and they defeated the Alpha Academy in a World Tag Team Title #1 Contenders tournament. I wanted to bring this up because there's a couple things that I love in
Hmm.
wrestling. There's a lot of stuff I love in wrestling. I keep saying there's a couple things, and it's like a lot of things, but a couple
Okay.
things specifically that I like in wrestling is tag team matches, tag team wrestling,
Same.
and
Same.
tournament-based competition.
Yes. I think it adds an interesting angle and it incorporates so many talented people all in one. Like you get so much in-ring
Yes.
action and then so many people get to work too.
Yes. Yes. I love a tournament. I love tag team wrestling. I love tag team tournaments. And we got a chance to see the revamp of the War Raiders as we had Ivar and Eric return after a long time on the shelf with injury. Ivar was
Yeah.
really doing his thing as a singles competitor, though, for real. Ivar was
Career-ending
killing it.
injuries.
Yeah, yeah, and he's back, and he is back doing his thing. But like I said, I gotta show love to Ivar because he really like for the time that Ivar was on TV, he
Hmm.
was having killer matches, and they were trying to keep him with stuff to do. But I think they just eventually like, hey, we're just gonna take you off TV. Eric's about to return. We'll
Hmm.
repackage you. But for a minute there, Ivar was really killing it. So much respect
Yeah.
to Ivar and what he was doing while his tag team partner was on the shelf because I just really admired how he just kept grinding and kept working. But now they're back and they move on, and they dropped the whole Viking thing. It seems
I
like they're really
loved
going back
it.
to their roots. Yeah, I think they're really going back to their roots as War Machine. I like what we could see from these two returning.
I like that they didn't pigeonhole themselves in something that they just might be typecast in. Because,
Yeah. Yep.
after like such a domineering archetype like that, we get tired of it.
Yep.
And then we start hating on people who are really talented and then they get shelved. But I really, like you said, they revisited their roots and I I think they were better than where they last left off. Well, obviously, because they're not injured and they're working. So that's awesome.
Right. Yes, it's great. I'm loving to see it. I'm really appreciating it.
Their
Um,
tag team finish was
so
awesome.
yeah, I
I
think
think
it's
it's
called the
called the
Fallout.
Fallout. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, and just like I absolutely love the matchup of Otis and Tozawa. Who knew that such an unlikely pair would just go so hard?
I know.
They
Like
have
that's
such amazing chemistry.
they do. They do. It's fun to see. Like obviously I feel like they're always gonna be like lower card. I think where they're at is where they're gonna stay at. I think with what they're doing, like there's a very, very low ceiling because it's just kind of like disjointed because it's still, it's still Chad Gable's thing, but Chad Gable's not involved. And now that Gable's not involved with it, they don't really have a direction. But I truly do agree with you as far as the chemistry is most definitely there. And they're just a fun team. They're just a fun team to watch.
Hmm.
And they were the right team to go up against the War Raiders and put them over as they move on and elevate in this tag team tournament.
With the utmost respect, like not everyone can be the winners. Not everyone can carry the tag team titles. We need those people in those places where they can provide a launching pad for people to ascend to their greatness. And just how well that they worked with the War Raiders. They got them over so well. And I really feel like
Yeah.
that's a credit to the people that Otis and Tozawa are, especially together. We need those tried and true tag teams to help elevate the people who are ascending up the card. And I think that's a very respectable place. I feel like sometimes in the locker room, like it's just a very underrated, very misunderstood place, but I think it serves a really important purpose. So I feel like things
Yeah.
like lower card, like it doesn't get the respect that it does.
Yeah. And
I,
honestly, it probably never will until like years later.
mhm. I mean, because we need the people who help provide the framework as we ascend it. So
Yep. Yep. Most definitely. You need your Barry Horowitz. You need your Brooklyn Brawlers. You need your Gilbergs. You need those guys. It's like it's a layup. Like you already know they're going under, but it's gonna be fun. So you
well,
definitely
Chelsea Green is
need.
having so much fun.
She's doing great. Like she said, she gets it. Like she truly gets it. And I will say this: as much as she's going under, I think there's going to be a championship in that woman's future at some point.
At least
So
for 3 seconds, she can say that she did it.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, like Chelsea, she's great. I love what she does.
Hey, whenever the
But
women get their mid card title, she might be a front
oh,
runner.
easy front runner for sure. That's a layup right there, most definitely. And one last thing, because we're about to wrap this up and call this a really great episode, which it has been a whole lot of fun. But okay, so I got to walk something back that I said months ago on the show because accountability. I said that the Wyatt Six, if where we're gonna go with the Wyatt Six from American Made. American Made now, they're gonna be entering that tag team tournament, and I could see them going deep. I could definitely see them going deep in that tournament for sure. But I said, what's next for them? Could it be the Judgment Day? That'd be elevated for the Wyatts who need to be elevated. But if it ends up being the Final Testament, I'm gonna boo boo all over it, and I'm gonna say that I hate it, and yada yada yada, and it's gonna be a step back for the Wyatts. I gotta tell you,
it's gonna
for
cook.
the sake, I think something's percolating for sure. Most definitely, I think there's been an interesting dynamic with the poison that Karrion Kross likes to whisper into people, and I think that I think that Karrion might be next in some kind of capacity. How it's going to be and how it's going to break down, I don't know, but I am interested to see. And I still have thoughts about why do we need two managers and Akam and Razar just stand there and do nothing. And so it's still like the stable still feels disjointed to me. I stand by that. But Karrion Kross has really built a very interesting, very niche character for himself that I think is starting to cook. And now we're going to see what the Wyatts can do to help grow that and how they can play off of each other.
You know what? You don't see the puppet master as he's finagling the puppets from behind. You might see the string, maybe you might, but the movement is still happening. He's still controlling the parts. So, and maybe the stages are still being constructed beyond our awareness. So
True.
And one thing that is really prevalent in the storyline telling right now in WWE is it's a slow burn.
Oh
like,
yeah.
So things are being set up, and it's time will only tell. So I feel like there's a really good possibility that Final Testament might be something that we didn't expect. So
hey, and I'm here for it.
I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but I really feel like they're being lined up for White Six. So, and I think we said that
agree. And
months ago too.
we did.
We
did. Yeah, we sure did.
On the Raw deal.
Absolutely, and that we've been it's crazy. It's like people listen to us or something. From I can tell. All I'll say is this: I do know on good authority that people in both companies have listened to this podcast. So I just leave it at that. How much information they're getting, I do not know, but I do know that some people do listen. So that's cool to know that.
Listen.
But like,
that's just how it is.
Yeah, For sure.
They like it raw.
Absolutely.
They
And
like it raw, con.
yeah, for sure. That's why they keep coming. That is exactly why they keep coming. And
And
that's
they
exactly
say
what
yes
this was.
when
We
they
gave
hit the
them,
subscribe button.
yes, hit that subscribe, follow us, show us love. We're putting out superstar content, y'all. And we
Every day
appreciate
of
you
the
guys
week.
tapping in. Yes, it's like,
Every
and
day.
like, it's crazy. Like, how many podcasts do you know that's doing it on this level? Like, we don't got no big production company behind us or anything like that. This is all just a team coming together for the good of wrestling, for the love of entertainment, and we all just love this thing. We talk about it, we review it, critique it, love it, sometimes hate it. And like what we've created is so cool, that people gravitate towards it. So it's great to know people come to us for that information and for that entertainment.
No one else puts the W in house. What does that W stand for?
It's work.
Work. We show
Most
up, we work.
definitely. And that's what we gave y'all. That's what we gave
You're
y'all is that
welcome.
work. So yeah, come on. Show us some love here, y'all. Show us some love. And I'm gonna do just that. I'm gonna show love to my co-host because I've got to give the amazing, divinely designed Annie O'Neill an opportunity to plug anything that she wants to plug. You've been doing some big things. You've been all over that Emerge page, doing some great
Dude,
backstage
almost
interviewing
every
with
day.
awesome talent. Yeah, yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Like,
It is
just,
great.
I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to be in the room with such amazing talent. Like, everyone from behind the stage to in front of it. It's an honor to join the leagues of people who are world traveled, and it's awesome. Little old me, who knew?
Yes, doing your thing, doing your
You
thing.
know?
Where can we catch anything else that you're doing?
Okay, so tomorrow in New Baltimore, I'm making my CCW debut, co-hosting with my friend Mission Smith. Um, I'm so excited for that. They're doing good things, and I can't wait to make a run of it. On October 26th, I'm making my commentary debut. Frontline
Ooh.
Pro in Marshfield, Wisconsin, and the world's most dangerous podcaster will be taking on Shaq Jordan in a singles
Oh,
match.
that's gonna be great.
So it's going to be a banger. Paragon's in it. It's just going to be a banger. That's just how it's written. So yeah, slowly taking over the world 2 states at a time, 3 now. So we're growing. We're growing and dominating.
There you go.
Giving it to
There you
them
go. Are you excited
raw.
about doing? Are you excited about doing commentary? I didn't know. That's gonna be cool.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, oh, and I don't know if I told you, but it's because of this show that the right people watched, and they offered me the opportunity because I had the experience. I liked what they liked what we do enough that they wanted you know, they let me do the calls, so I'm gonna pick up the phone. So let's
That's
go.
great.
Yeah,
Awesome. More opportunity. That's what I love to do. That's why I do it. That's exactly why I do it. For reasons like that. So talented people
absolutely.
can get eyes on them and be seen. So that's great.
You
That
know
made
what?
my day to hear that.
We're everyone's gonna eat, so let's feast, friend. How about you? What are you up to?
Absolutely.
Anything you're working on? Anything you are looking forward to?
Oh, I feel like I'm always working on something at all
Sure.
times. And that's specifically how I like it. I like to be working. So, yeah, I'm going to be here doing my thing at In Your House. You guys already know I'm going to be doing the Wednesday show here. Of course, that is the Raw Deal with House and O'Neill. Then Friday, you guys can catch me taking it back to the 90s with the ECW watch along series with the voice Josh Joseph, and we're going into ECW Hardcore Television. One, the originals. We're going up against RVD and Sabu representing the WWF against ECW. It's been a great vibe.
Ooh.
That has been fun digging into episodes I've never seen before. And then Sunday, you guys already know it is the Sunday house party where a lot of us get together. If anybody's available in the group, we come together. We have a group chat, talk about some wrestling, do it. Whatever was happening in the last week, is what we talk about. And those episodes, especially after PLE, are always ones you guys don't want to miss because they're always super exciting episodes. episodes. And yeah, you guys already know the house party. Got to bring up that house party again, November 30th. We're going to be doing it, Kokomo, Indiana. So many games and prizes, and the first ever In Your House live podcast. So that's going to be fun. That is going to be exciting. And yeah, we're just moving. We are just putting in the work, slowly taking over the world, slowly taking over the wrestling world and beyond that in your house and everything that we are putting together. And you guys can follow us, everything we do in your house. And that is, of course, HOWSC. And the W stands for work. So for Divinely Designed Annie O'Neill, for the Chaos Goblin Kevin Calloway, for Grunmeister, for Hypocrisy Jones, for the voice Josh Joseph, for the world's most dangerous podcaster paragon, I am Alakan, the Concept House, here to remind you to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to hop on this bandwagon, get on or get gone, because the household is still going mighty strong. You guys have a great day and a great rest of your week. Peace.
Yeah. In your house with O'Con. Hey, O'Con in your house. Hollywood in your house. Hypocrisy's head in the clouds. Curating all kind of loud. Wrestling in front of the crowds. Paragon's holding it down. Anybody can get it. Josh Joseph standing on his decisions. He is the voice. There is no choice. We is them boys in your house making wrestling noise. Moving fast just like cruiserweight action. In your house is the perfect distraction. Pumpers in your ears when you in traction. Get this work with some wrestling action. Smoke.